Hi, y'all. I'm Jo, your host and cannabis lifestyle guide. And we are joined today by Nicole Kennebeck. Nicole, thank you so much for being here. She is the one and only marketing director for Willie's Reserve. So, Nicole, thanks for joining me.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I love that you work with Willie's Reserve. I'm a Texas girl. I don't know if you could tell by my accent.
Yeah, but a little bit.
I grew up listening to Willie Nelson, and it was just a staple in our house, you know, the Texas Highwayman. We had Waylon Willie and the boys playing all the time, and that man is just an icon in cannabis. So I love that you're here to roll joints with me, and I'm sure I'll ask some stories about any experiences you had with Willie when we get started.
Yeah. It's 420, right? So let's get started.
That's right. So
for sure.
I have had a really rough day. I am in what soon will be the Casually Baked Studio 2.0. I recently moved, but this room is not quite finished being emptied out. So I am in transition coming at you with this roll with me. So I've been anxious all day. So I'm mixing, I say all that to say I'm mixing some CBD flower in with my THC today. I need all the help I can get. So I've got a little can of tonic that I am going to mix with some homegrown blackberry and sour diesel, a sour diesel mix. So what do you got? What do you got on your end, Nicole?
Sounds like you've got some heavy hitter, like classic heavy hitter mixes there. Can of tonic, you said? Blackberry and sour diesel?
Yes. Wow. So well, go ahead.
That's okay. I just haven't, first of all, I haven't seen some blackberry in a minute. So I'm a little jealous that you get to be smoking blackberry right now. And then sour diesel, that is, speaking of Willie's Reserve, that is our number one strain in the country. You can find Willie's Reserve sour diesel. You found the golden ticket. Like, it's a classic. It's great. All of the farmers that we work with that grow the sour diesel in every state are doing a great job on that strain.
Nice.
So I just wanted to say that.
Yeah. Well, speaking of, how many states is Willie's Reserve in now? This is one of the hazards of doing shows with people on farms is the internet's not always great. So I have a frozen Nicole mid-grind. But until she gets unfrozen, I have been moving from Oakland to the wine and weed country in Northern California. You haven't seen my face in a while. But yeah, moving is fucking stressful, y'all. And finding all of your stuff, once you've packed it, you think you'll remember where things are and you don't. So fortunately, I did not pack a few of these, or I didn't pack these with all the other boxes because I can't find most of my stuff. I didn't put this in a box because I knew I wouldn't find it. Oh my gosh. So yeah, Nicole's gonna have to pop back online, bless her heart. We were having struggles getting it going. But I might roll one or two. It's been one of those days. But yes, this room, I am in a 100-year-old farmhouse, and I am in Northern California, and this will soon be home to some day trips and retreats that I will invite you on if you want to experience the wine and weed country of Northern California. I just had my first guest in mid-July. It was right when I was starting to move, but I will have her on. Her name's Melody, and she will be on the 200th episode of the podcast airing in 2 weeks. So she'll let you know what it's like rolling with me in person. I feel like I should probably take my phone off airplane mode in case Nicole is trying to call. I swear, thank goodness I named this show Casually Baked, because doing anything and it running smoothly anymore, it feels like that just doesn't even happen. So I'm going to be rolling the OCB hemp papers, and I have a Meritage blend with blackberry, sour diesel, and some cannatonic CBD, because it's been one of those days and my anxiety level is on an 11. So too much THC won't necessarily be my best friend. Here she is. Hello, darling. Welcome back.
So it just got too hot for my phone.
Oh, and here I was thinking it must be the Wi-Fi scene out in the country.
Yeah, you would normally, I would think yes, but this time it was actually, it was too hot.
Well, I've just been rambling about the pains of moving and the anxiety of it all. So, so you're just in time. I just got some flour grinded.
Great.
Oh, I see you've got the premiums.
Yeah. I'm gonna use the premiums, and I'm gonna roll up this Willie's Reserve Mom's Weed.
I know where that comes from.
Right? Comes from here. Yeah, from over here at Huckleberry. So here's what got me really excited about doing this with you is that I love OCBs. They are my favorite paper of all times.
Nice.
So I was really excited when you were like, want to roll up with some OCBs? I was like, yes, please. I would love to do that.
Well, and the reason I love OCB is that they're doing things the right way. They're sustainable. They care about their local communities, and when they use something, they make sure that they're cleaning it up and replacing it. And there's so many designer papers out now that have all kinds of pictures and designs and all kinds of stuff on it. And I'm like, where are these things made? Is this stuff okay for me to be smoking? Like, it just, a bunch of that shit just makes me nervous. So I like just good, clean, classic, been around for a long time. You can trust them. I feel like that's what OCB is.
100%.
So talk to me about some of the, any tips that you have that kind of help you roll your favorite joint.
Oh yeah. So my favorite joint includes a crutch. That's why I love this pack, because it comes with the crutches, right? I always roll my crutch first, because it's hard to roll a crutch while you're rolling the joint, right?
Yeah.
So the paper is always folded in half. I fold it with another line again. That's like probably a ½ inch from that first line that comes in the paper. I crease it again, and I make like a little flat space where I put all my weed.
Okay. Create a little tray.
And then I put my crutch in there. Give the weeds a little, tuck it all in. The trick, I feel like, with joints is like, don't stop moving it, like keep pushing it together. It'll come together, but when you stop, it all starts to fall apart,
It's interesting you say that. You sound like my driver's ed teacher when he was talking about parallel parking.
Yeah,
He was like,
like that.
I just blew flour all over the place. Yeah, he's like, you never stop. It's one motion. You just got to keep it going.
Yeah, I feel like that's my tip for joint rolling for sure. It's one motion, keep going. And I find that like the less I think about it, the better off I am.
I have not, I'd gotten pretty good about practicing, like spending a little bit of time in the evening, watching or listening something and rolling.
Yeah.
But now all my time is spent unpacking boxes and finding things. And so I feel rusty at this joint rolling thing. So this lesson couldn't come at a better time.
What do you think is the hardest part about rolling the joint for you?
I think it is the space between the crutch and the flower, keeping that, because I can get, my friends last week were making fun of me because I create almost an air chamber in there. And, you know, I microdose. So for me, you know, I'm not rolling big joints, but they pull really hard and they can get a little hot because I leave a little space in there. So I'm trying to figure out how to minimize that and create the same density throughout the whole joint. Do you have any tips for that?
Yeah, so my tips for that are pack it more in the middle, put it heavier in the middle, right? So that when you start to squish it and squeeze it, it'll start to even itself out out to the ends.
Okay.
And then I would also say if you're looking for it to be like to the crutch, don't leave too much room, because if you're putting the crutch in after you roll the joint, is that the deal?
No. The crutch is in, but I'm saying once I start to seal it, I feel like I start getting a little too much space there. It's like my joint will feel dense, and then right before the crutch, it gets soft, like where there's a weak point where there's a pretty big air chamber, I think. When I see you in person in a few weeks, I will, I'll show you what I mean. Yeah. But it is, it's definitely something when you're smoking with someone who's rolled a joint and they really know how to roll a joint, you can just, it's got some serious structural integrity that mine don't have. I mean,
I get it. I've been there.
This is still going to be extremely smokable, but it's just not exactly the same.
I get it. Well, good news is when I see you, I'll be able to roll you a joint and show you as well any tips and tricks in person that might be helpful for you.
But what I end up doing now is, so I know how to, like, I can roll the joint, I get it together, and then I really have to work post-roll in creating that structural integrity.
Okay.
So just now, like my crutch was slipping out just a touch. So I had to, like, you know, pack it back in, which helped with that little air chamber thing. And I'm tucking the paper up under it. So now this mofo actually gonna smoke good.
Awesome.
All right, Nicole. So when you cut out, I was asking Willie's Reserve, multi-state operator, what states are you in right now? Where all can people get Willie's Reserve?
They can find us in Colorado, Arizona, California, Nevada, and Ohio.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Any new states on the horizon that you can tell us about?
Nothing official that I can tell you about, but I can tell you that wherever there's weed, there's Willie. So you can count on that. We are always looking at working in new states to bring Willie's Reserve to everybody as much as we can.
Right on. And how do y'all go about, because I know in California, I know some of the farmers that you work with, and they are amazing craft cannabis farmers. So how do y'all go about the process of finding the farms that you're going to partner with?
So we actually go through a strategic conversation with all of our farmers to really get to know and familiarize ourselves with them and their processes and their strains, and really just understanding the consistency and the farmer's ability to really contribute some great products to Willie's stash, right? Willie's Reserve is the legal stash of Willie Nelson, right? So farmers have been contributing to Willie's stash as he's toured the country for his entire
That's right,
life.
for decades, yes.
Right. So we're doing the same thing. We're working with local farmers to find some of their favorite harvests that they think they want to contribute to the stash. And so, it's really a well-rounded relationship and conversation between us as Willie's Reserve and the farmers.
So does Willie come in and sit down and smoke all of it? Be like, oh, I like this one, I like this one. Is it, I mean, once you've kind of narrowed it down to like, these are some of the heavy hitters, the good players in these markets, then does it just end up being a smoke sesh that seals the deal?
I'm going to leave like everybody's. The best part about Willie's stash is that it's always had this air of like legend behind it, right? And so I'm not here to like ruin anybody's legend, right? Or like give spoilers about legendary things like Willie Nelson's stash. But I will say, Willie has talked about it himself. He is our chief tasting officer here at Willie's Reserve, and he on Jimmy Fallon, he's quoted is saying he hasn't smoked one he hasn't liked yet. So, I think we're doing okay as far as representing Willie Nelson's cannabis brand out here in the world of cannabis and Willie Nelson enthusiasts, right?
Totally. So recently in Texas, he was part of hosting a big educational event about cannabis, right?
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that. How'd it go?
So are you referring to the Luck?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I attended all the days of the conference, and it was really amazing. We heard from some really powerful and well-informed individuals in the space, and from individuals who are participating in different opportunities around cannabis. And it was really great to have us all come together under the like, what do I want to say, like the Willie Nelson passion. Sorry, I'm getting high, right?
Okay.
It's all of us we all kind of came together to really talk about some of the key things that are really important in cannabis right now, and like really bring the community together through Luck and the amazing work that they do to produce music and media.
Now, but was it a focus?
COVID and before.
Yeah. So was this thing basically like, hey, Texas, let's get educated? Did it have a Texas focus, or was it just a national cannabis education event?
It's funny. I think we had a lot of people from Texas be present there. And I don't think that anything we do in cannabis is one state focused, right? Like
Certainly.
Anything we do in cannabis, it's just like a chain reaction conversation. And you're talking about it, you're always talking about it on a national level, because there's just nowhere that cannabis doesn't touch, even in the states where it's still illegal.
Yeah.
We're still dealing with the cannabis market, right? It's
Yeah.
just not the same one as Colorado or California, or, you know, those of us who are fortunate to be in legal places.
Yeah. I'm smiling as you say that because, you know, I was just at the Wine and Weed Symposium, and here, you know, if it's not California, we're not really talking about it very much because California, you know, is the largest cannabis market in the world. And so, you know, it's like Californians, I think a lot of times just stay in their little bubble and they know what cannabis culture is in this state, but they have no clue what people do or don't know anywhere else. And so,
well, I do think though that California cannabis consumers are unique. They are a well-educated individual market. I have it has a special place in my heart for the cannabis culture in California, right? And yeah, you're right. Like there's an opportunity for California cannabis consumers to share with the rest of us what it really looks like to live and side by side with this plant as part of like your culture and your community, and you know what I'm saying. So I think
yes,
there's a lot of opportunity for us to learn together too around those same things.
You know, I think it is interesting because, you know, that's the piece that I'm bringing through Casually Baked is let me welcome you into this lifestyle. This is a cannabis for wellness lifestyle. This is, you know, what a California sober lifestyle is, you know, and welcome, come into my living room and let's do this together. But then, you know, when you think about it from the business side of things, at this conference I was just at, they were saying because the business market in cannabis is so competitive, it behooves somebody to go start a brand in another legal state, incubate it there, grow it there, and then try to bring it to California. But to just like try to start a cannabis business in California, it's like shark infested waters.
Well, except, you know, I would just say like, maybe it's time for us to stop making new businesses and to start working together on the businesses we have. If our mission is federal legalization, like, I don't think it's about like creating a new business anywhere right now. I think we've got plenty of cannabis in this country. And as we start to legalize state by state, right, we issue more licenses to produce in Missouri or in Kansas and Iowa. Well, if you go back like 20 years, Missouri and Kansas and Iowa were cannabis consumers were not having a problem finding cannabis. You know, if there's a will, there's weed that will find it. Like, and I think those same producers are still producing cannabis, right? And so we want to be conscious that like as we start handing out licenses in places like Iowa and Kansas and Missouri, and not just particularly in the Midwest, but I'm saying like where, you know, cannabis has been growing places, and it's been supporting a large industry for a long time, and now it's become legal, and we want to be conscious that we're not pushing out those who actually created this community and this industry, even when the industry wasn't being called an industry, right?
Yes, and it's a double-edged sword because first, you know, people have to reach their hands out on both sides of that aisle. I mean, it's like the grower has to want to come out of the shadows, out of the legacy market, and, you know, the people that are starting businesses and have capital to fund it, and, you know, instead of starting from scratch, go find one of those farms and, you know, do the come up together.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as like just somebody, you know, everybody's going to be starting businesses. You know, it's a country full of entrepreneurs. You know, we just can't help ourselves. I've started a couple of them myself, and you know, it's just if you're going to jump into that game, California is not the easiest place to do it. Oklahoma sounds like one hell of a place to start. to start a cannabis business right now?
I think the grass is greener where you water it, right? Like,
Oh, Nicole, that's good. Yeah,
like
you're exactly right. It is.
California, Oklahoma, Texas, Colorado, you know, Arkansas, Ohio, Maryland, New York. It doesn't water your grass. Take care of your community. Be mindful of like the resources you're using. You know, one thing I love about working in cannabis is that it's a very humbling plant. You can't get too wild or too egotistical about working in the space because we still owe it all to the plant. So, you know, I don't know. I think we have a long journey ahead of us. It's come a long way. I don't think I'll see the end. So,
Oh, well, no, definitely
I'm just
not.
I'm gonna keep watering my grass, you know?
There you go. Mindfully water your grass. There you go. Mindfully water it, mindfully smoke it, mindfully share it. Yeah, we can do this.
Right. Yeah.
Well, Nicole, I appreciate you smoking a J with me and rolling through our little technical difficulties in the beginning. Thank y'all
Thank you
for hanging out with us. If you guys want to learn to roll joints as good as Nicole, OCB right now has a special offer. If you go to ocbusa.com/baked, you can get 4 booklets of OCB papers and a rolling tray for $4.99. The bundle is worth $20, but the rolling skills and street cred we're going to earn together, my friend, makes this bundle priceless. Nicole, do you have anything going on with Willie's Reserve that you want to plug before we end our smoke sesh?
Just that everyone should go out and check out this mom's weed before it's all gone. From Huckleberry on the Willie's Reserve brand. It's amazing. California, get you some.
There you go. Now, but that's like only the California Willie's Reserve has mom's weed, right?
Yep.
Okay, so then you have, so each state, their grass is being watered and represented.
Yes.
All right. I dig it. Well, guys, I appreciate y'all. Thank you so much for hanging out. And Arnav, I miss you.